Do you feel like the Niners are actually getting pulled down into the muck in a way that the Chiefs are not in your estimation?
I'm the running on the Niners defense is a little worrisome. I think that is going to be a problem. I think how they play style. I think maybe that's some exchange with Hargrave and his play style. That's a little more upfield, more aggressive,
Mm-hmm.
but that's the trade off.
Okay, look at
That
the
you give
Eagles' run defense this year compared to last year. He's a great player, but he
great
he
player,
has specific strengths.
gap shooter guys like kind of have that trade off. You're going to get you're going to strike out a lot, but then you're going to get hit some a lot of home runs. But I look at that offense and even at a day today with the turnovers with Purdy, they're all happening at once. He's always had these kind of moments where he's getting near turnovers, and it felt like again 2 weeks in a row that he's kind of like all spurred out the worst moments. They're moving the ball again fine
They
on
averaged 8
offense.
yards a play today.
They were oh my god, I know we'll talk about that game later. They were moving the ball so well, and that's why I'm not concerned about them too much. But I will say the rush defense is a little concerning because that has been kind of a thorn in some quality defenses and quality team sides over the long run. But I still think they're very good.
Yeah, and the defense in general, I think, is worth keeping an eye on.
Yeah.
It took a while to get here where there was a little bit of concern about them, but coming into the season, this is why I wasn't ready to just throw them in as like, this is the best team in the NFC. They're going to be who they were last year.
Yeah.
They lost the defensive coordinator. They have some turnover on
Yeah.
that side of the ball. So I think it's just worth remembering that even though they were great over the first 4 to 6 weeks, this is always something that could creep up. So I'm kind of with you. And it's so funny that he had the 2 terrible interceptions. It's one of the reasons they ultimately lose the game. I was more impressed with Brock Purdy today for 95% of the game than I have been with him in most of the games he has played in the NFL.
2 weeks in a row for me watching him. Even the Vikings game, I watched him. I was like, dude, he made some real deal throws here.
Big boy throws.
Yes.
And what he was doing with his legs. He was extending a bunch of plays in this game.
Yep.
I thought that he was a real positive influence on this game for all but like 2 or 3 snaps. So I know that those are really important 2 or 3 snaps, but I think it's important to just kind of keep the big picture when we're looking at him and when we're looking at this offense specifically. They had, I believe, they had the best offensive success rate of any team in the NFL today. The San Francisco 49ers did. They averaged 8 yards per play, which was the best mark in the league in week 8. So just something to keep an eye on. As we're looking at
I'm sorry. I look at like combined success rate and explosive play rate. It's just a simple stat I look at, but they were, I think
you
this
need to
game
show me where that is, by the way.
Okay. I call it OPS because I call it OPS, like on base plus slugging, because I just couldn't think of another name for it. But I think this game was like the 4th best game of the season that any team has had. So it's like they're okay at offense.
And they left stuff on the field. Now you kicks off the dome on a random play that he typically is complete. So the Bengals are back, baby. The Cincinnati Bengals, you have my attention. Biggest thing that jumped out to you about what the Bengals did to the Niners today, specifically.
That's why all Bengals talk up until this point was like, just wait till the bye week. Just wait till the bye week. Just wait till the bye week. You know, Burrow's calf and how this offense is. Well, first off is how Burrow looks. He has looked better into the bye week, but now he looks 100% or as near to
nice. It was just so nice. Watching him over the first month of the season was such a fucking bummer. He's so good when he's good, and he's so good when he's right. To see him at 65% or whatever he was and unable to function within that offense, it was just depressing as someone who likes good ball. And to see that version of him out there today was so comforting and so much fun.
Yeah, and again, they're trying to tweak. We talked about the under center stuff on Thursday, and they were hitting that opening script. They hit it kind of maybe shied away from it as the game went along, which I'll be interested to check out. I'm not sure if you have any numbers on that.
They ran 15 under center plays today. They had run 16 all season.
Yeah,
and
a lot of runs out of it.
So the most they had done all season. Talking to people there, I was wondering, it was a specific Niners game plan thing, and I think that they just wanted to introduce it for more variety, period. It was the same kind of stuff that we talked about last year, where they're very conscious of what their own tendencies are. So what can we introduce to start playing with those tendencies? And that was one of my biggest takeaways from this game. This coaching staff deserves our respect. Yeah. All these people in the first month of the year when the quarterback wasn't operating and when they really couldn't do anything offensively because the playbook was so condensed, people were shitting all over them. And I'm like, guys, how fast we forget how good they've been at these little tiny pivot moments over the last couple of years. And I think today is another example of that, where they've done such a great job of trying to just slither for answers and just finding them in the cracks. And that sort of game plan today where it's like, we're going to play under center more because we know we need a little bit of a change up. Just another example for me.
Yeah, the run, like what you're saying, they know their tendencies. I mean, Chase's touchdown was a great example of it because I mean they run that before, little fake bubble, the blocker runs a wheel route. Everybody kind of has a variation of it, but because it's more devastating because of how many bubbles and flats this offense throws so much or throws right now, and because they're putting Chase into the slot so much more, the number 3 spot so much more, it's making those more devastating. But then it's kind of funny that they faked him as a blocker on that one and still got him to open up for a touchdown. But again, you're using tendencies and breaking them. There's another Jamar Chase catch, 10 of them today, but it was near the red zone or in the red zone. It's like a little crossing route. And kind of mentioned this, that they keep putting him at the number 3 spot, the tight end position area. And he chip helps. You have Jamar Chase chip helping.
I saw that.
Which
yeah.
Most people would be like, you know what? How can you use Jamar Chase as a chip helper? If that happened in Atlanta, oh my goodness. So he does it. He chip helps. But what it does is because the 49ers are so like they use their own kind of tendencies and awareness of tendencies against them. Oh, a guy's chip helping. We can loosen up and get into coverage. And there's Jamar Chase.
Human nature. It's
just
how you respond to that.
He chip helps. He's blocking. I don't have to worry about him running a route. That's the last thing I have to worry about. But then you realize, oh, it's number 1. And then he's running for an easy first down. So again, using tendencies, using this stuff off of it. And it's just, yeah. And the run game was good. Some good tendency breakers there and some good ways to influence Bosa and kind of keep him uneasy sometimes in the run game with jet sweep stuff. So really good game plan. Again, like you said, they've earned our respect, especially what happened last year. And again, coming out of the bye week. And so it's like, I wanted to see how they kind of did this after this bye week.
There was a stretch in the first quarter that I thought was very emblematic of just who they were today. Burrow slips out of like 3 different sacks on a single play, finds T. Higgins on the sideline on 3rd down, keeps the drive going. Next set of plays, a swing to Chase in the left flat, just an extension of the run game. They're very good at kind of getting him those touches now within the rhythm of their offense. Very next play, under center play action to Jamar Chase. How many under center play action plays do you think the Bengals had run before this game, this season?
This year? Oh, like 2.
1.
Okay.
1. Okay. There were 3 or 4 today. So they ran 4 times as many today as they had the entire season coming into the game.
Yeah.
Next play, after hitting that, they run a trap to Joe Mixon. Again, which against the Niners, that's the type of stuff that you can do well. They get guys upfield, chunk gain out of like a little 3-by-1 set that I thought was a very good way to just get linebackers out of the muck. They finish off the drive with a little slot fade to Tyler Boyd for a touchdown. Motion to get him there. Great play against Isaiah Oliver. Beautiful ball by Burrow. So all of that stuff combined, you have Burrow playmaking out of structure when necessary. You have smart designs that make sense as little tendency breakers, as game plan specific stuff. And then you have the quarterback being the quarterback on that final throw to Tyler Boyd, which he was all day today. I mean, this guy finished 28 of 32 for 283
Peppered him
offense, and he felt that good. That whole shot that he hit to Jamar Chase in the second half, just in stride, beautiful. Chase drags his feet. I'm like, we're back. Like, we are so back.
Well, the fact that he checked into a QB draw out of empty, that's when I was like, okay, he's feeling it. That was something they got to last year. They were using more as just a straight designed runner, especially with the QB draw stuff. When you get, it was funny. It was the 49ers got caught on that. Like they were trying to like, okay, we're going to show pre-snap and we're going to do something funky post-snap. And like, I think they were showing man and they got to something else. But they show it and they show a light box. So Burrow checks to the QB draw on 3rd and long, but then actually the final result was something he did not want to check into, but it ended up working out because it was just like, so the 49ers played themselves and Burrow caught him. So that was actually pretty fun, but no one had eyes on Burrow on that one. So their whole run game was great. Like, I love that you brought up the trap play. Again, using the jet motion to influence Bosa on that. The toss plays, kind of getting some stuff outside, getting those guys going horizontal, the bubble stuff, like I mentioned, and they can get to the bubble stuff, and that helps out the run game is against the 49ers. So when they wanted to go into the gun, if the 49ers want to be in too high and you're putting the kind of the apex defender, which is the slot defender, into a choice there. Does he play the bubble or does he help out with the run game? So now he has to pick. He has to pick his poison. And now you have Joe Mixon coming downhill, or you have Jamar Chase running a bubble, and Jamar Chase breaks the first tackler every single time. So it's just simple football, but it's just
it really is. But
they're narrowing what they
sense.
do. It's great. It was good stuff today. We We knew it was coming, but it's good. It's
Yeah.
good to see in
It's
action.
nice to see it though. To see
Yeah.
him look that healthy and to see that game plan come together is very reassuring. On defense, I know that there's some people who are probably going to look at the final result and look back at the conversation we had against about the Bengals defense on Thursday and just be like, you didn't give them enough credit. Very similar results though. I mean, the
Yeah.
Niners moved the ball very consistently, but the Bengals got them a couple times. I mean, the
Yep.
pick that Purdy throws in the red zone, he just needs to put more loft on that ball. It's just a fluky play. The second interception, and I don't want to get too deep into the details because people obviously can't see this, but it felt like the Niners ran the wrong route. So you had two guys coming from left to right, and it feels like Jennings should run a shallow there, right? To yank the linebacker up, and Ayuk comes in
Well,
behind it.
it was like they had two inbreakers. So they do dagger in a different way in that offense where it's like they kind of do an over with a dig behind it. So I wasn't sure if that got bad spacing. And the guy, I think I was supposed to have the inside
That
route
also
kind of
could make
kind of
sense.
pushed up. That was my first instinct. And that was kind of just what I went with. But that's another thing too, is that you don't know who's tagged as what. That's always the common mistake that happens. Oh, this guy moves around. Oh, I'm the F. Oh, and then he makes a mistake. He's actually the Z. And then they run.
It just
double
feels
the
like
same
there
route.
should have been an underneath route in there
The
because
space,
there was nothing to pull Wilson down. If they were trying
yeah,
to do like any sort of high low, there was nothing to pull
nothing
him down.
underneath. And yeah, the two guys were right next to each other too. And so they had no horizontal spacing and no vertical spacing. But that offense usually does such a great job of it. So yeah, it did feel like a bust or someone got collisioned into something bad.
Yeah. So that,
Yeah.
again, that's just a
And
offensive mistake that leads to a
Purdy's
game-swinging
trusted it.
play.
He was trusted
And
it.
that'll happen sometimes, right?
That's that offense. You have to pull the trigger on it, but it can bite you.
I don't no reason to get down this road now, but it's the conversation about whether it's actually anticipation or you're just throwing to where they're telling to throw you the ball, right?
Right.
Like those are two different things. But
Hey,
I
it's
I
interpretation. It's it's choose your adventure. That's how you want to go with it.
They did do some drop 8 in this game, which we assume they would.
Yes.
Mixed results, some
Yep.
huge chunk plays, but also a key third down incompletion early in the
Mhm.
game. So again, there wasn't that many answers that they had that consistently slowed the Niners down. It was just a couple bounces of the ball, but what they did on offense, hugely encouraging.